Good evening from the workshop, and I've not been here today because I've had other work I needed to do, but Thomas has, and he's been busy making things out of plastic, hence all the cutting and drilling and all sorts of shit lying around and measuring. One of the things is this, which will be more explained in a bit, but yeah, he's been making a prototype setup for the intercooler ducting for the 180 swaps, because anything mid-engine struggles with airflow to the intercooler, and we're basically trying different things to make it as good as possible. Because the thing is, most of these like 1ZZ and K-swap turbo fucking MR2s and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, my intake temps are fine, or oh, you know, this, that, the other. But they don't even know. You ask them like, what are your actual temps? And they'll either tell you what their temps are just cruising around, which is irrelevant, or they just don't even fucking know. It's like, and chances are, I mean, looking at them, most of them are terrible, but we don't do like guessing and claiming and bullshit like everyone else. We want to prove it. So yeah, we're going to check what's what. I've already done a bit of testing. Basically, let me show you. This is our friend's car that Thomas converted a little while ago, and I did testing with nothing, so no ducting, no holes, no nothing, and it was not appalling, but not good enough in my opinion. We knew it kind of wouldn't be. I bet a lot of these ones are way worse. So then we added the holes, because more outlet from the intercooler, and to be honest, made no difference. So what that proves is there was no real airflow through it, we would say. Almost certainly, because it wasn't a struggle getting the air out, it just, there wasn't airflow. So time for ducting. And first, before, well, you want to make prototypes before you know if it's even going to work. So yes, this is a prototype that Thomas has done today. The straps are because there's no catch at the moment. But yeah, Thomas has made this. So basically it takes up the full length of that, as you can see, and it basically feeds it to the intercooler. And now I got to go and test it to see if it being sealed off from the engine bay will make a difference, or if there just genuinely is no downward flow through this. Let's find out. Right, got the coolant nice and hot, 90 degrees. Let's see what intake temp is. So yeah, not too bad. Better than last time we left it idling for ages, for sure. Let's see what happens once I drive it a bit. You are cable tied to the passenger headrest, so basically you'll get a passenger eye view. What you'll see or what you'll hear, I don't bloody know. I've never driven one of these with like a standard KO for it. Just spools up out of fucking nothing. It's so weird. I'm used to like big turbos. It's literally like full boost instantly. Right, and first I will cruise around and see if intake temps drop at all, which would say that there's some airflow through it. insta boost. Right, intake temps look like there is a bit more airflow now for sure, because it's less than it is while cruising, but not by much. Doesn't look like there's a lot of airflow then, is my guess, but I'll drive around a bit more. Unlike before, where it wouldn't go any lower than at a standstill when cruising, now it does. Not by a lot, a few degrees, about 3 degrees, but it shows there is some airflow now, so that's good, but not a lot. But like I said, I mean, for example, at the moment the intake temp's barely over 40 degrees, which is, considering it's about 23, 24 at the moment outside anyway, that's not too bad. But it depends what happens when I give it some. So let's find some clear road where I can pull it under a bit of load. Right then, next test with, thanks to the magic of cable ties, we have a scoop. And yeah, that will now feed to that. This, well, nothing melted, it certainly survived, but it's still hot in here. So yeah, I mean, ideally I think maybe blank that off too. I might actually go and get some tape and put that over that, but yeah, that's about as good as you're gonna get. I weren't too happy about that gap, so I got a bit of duct tape and sealed that up. Obviously it's not completely sealed, but you know, that bit was the bit I was like, I don't know if it was me. So yeah, it's on. You know what, if this works, I think that actually looks pretty smart. Obviously it'd be made of a proper one. It could be bolted on the aluminium most likely, but yeah, just got to see if it works now. I hope it does, because I kind of like that, and I like the simplicity of having just a rear mount intercooler rather than like a, you know, a charge cooler like I did have, or a crazy front mount like I've now got. So. Yeah, it's now in the 30s, and it's intake temp has never been that low in any of this testing yet, even without driving. 39 is showing. 38 is still dropping. 37. Wow, that was interesting, but not great. This time, intake temps didn't go as high by a fair way. And they also dropped like super fast, like literally the minute I let off the throttle, it dropped 10 degrees in like a blink of an eye and went back down to, you know, quite low almost straight away, but still way too high for my liking. Testing and tuning is often flawed, as in people try and fix a problem without realizing the problem is something else entirely. So while it's probably the air going in that's the problem, well, why don't we prove it? So next test, no rear bumper at all. So as outlet to the intercooler goes, it's perfect. The only issue is the ducting, yeah, it's not sealed now. You know what, I might go and get some tape and see if I can temporarily bodgeroony that too. I decided that gap was, well, wouldn't make it a good test. Bullshit. So I used a shitload of duct tape and I've sealed the gap. Whether this stays on at you know, top of fourth, we'll find out. But yeah, place your bets. Honestly, I reckon this is going to help, but I don't think it's going to solve the problem. Maybe I'm paranoid, but nah, this will be better again, but I don't think it'd be good enough. Let's see. It's actually noticeably quicker now, so you can tell the ignition was retarding with high inlet temps beforehand, because this is more powerful. Not a lot, but it feels crispier, you know. It rose, but it took a lot longer, but it still went too high in my opinion. Basically it stayed low 40s for most of it, and basically creeped up. So by the top of fourth, I mean, I was like 6.5 grand in fourth, which is a certain speed. It got to 55 all of a sudden, but for nearly all of that, it was in the 40s, mid 40s. So some cars, some standard cars are higher than that. So that's not terrible, but in my opinion it's not good enough. Day 2 of intercooler testing. Thomas has gone to the more extremes now with this, and fairly confident this would work. And although it's
yellow submarine,
yeah,
back.
Exactly, my old yellow shitbox, which genuinely did have a yellow submarine sticker on it when I bought it, that's donated its old and very, very shit paint boot lid, and one of the other cars has donated its back bumper, and we're gonna see what is what with all this. Basically, as you'd have seen with the earlier runs, the scoop helped, removing the rear bumper helped the most, but now it's got a bigger scoop, a bigger rear opening, and more to the point, a much bigger opening for the intercooler. Because obviously before, it's those slots, there's more closed than there was open. Now it's fully open. So let's see. You know, this is something that some people would love, because it looks, obviously this is a mock-up, it's not tidy, but like a production nice looking version of this. Some people would love, I actually love it, it looks badass. Some people wouldn't, but it just gives them an option. And to be honest, yeah, I mean, I did some research as well on intercooler temps on different similar boosted mid-engine vehicles, and even the results we got so far are actually quite good compared to most. Like a Lotus Exige, the supercharged ones, even standard on a long run, like I was doing this, you know, up to the top of 4th, they're seeing intercooler temps of like low 90s, 92 degrees. It's like, holy shit. The worst we saw in this was like high 50s. It's like, fucking hell. I mean, high 50s is the magic number is 40 or less, really. High 90s is insane. And yeah, like I said earlier in the video, like it's quite common on production cars to see 60s and 70s, but it's still not good. And we like to do things properly. So, you know, most of these manufacturers and most of these people who fit rear mount intercoolers and whatever on these, they just don't mention the date. You know, they don't mention the data, they don't mention the temps. They either never check and just bury their heads in the sand, or deliberately don't mention it. But we want to make things proper and we want to prove it. So yeah, this is next one for being tested. I'm pretty confident it's gonna work. It's just a debate of how many people want it like this. I mean, it's not, basically all you're doing is cutting, that's the standard lines really, because you've got the cut out anyway, and it only goes to the top of the number plate. It's not drastic, and I like it, but we'll see. Time to test the more extreme version. I'm pretty confident this will work awesomely, but you know, we will see. And it just gives you guys data so you can choose what you want to do, because there's plenty of options. Because most of these mid-engine turbo setups, especially the MR2s, have got like just a bump, just got an intercooler plonked in the back bumper there, and it doesn't work properly. It works, wow, it doesn't really. It works worse than what this current setup is, and you know, worse than the earlier setups we've already proven. So but this one should work, but it's more extreme. Well, just cruising around, it's better than it's ever been. Less than 10 above ambient, sometimes barely over 5 above ambient. That's good going. After the last disappointing result, well, it's disappointing. It's better than most people would get, but it's not as good as we wanted. And we were talking about why. And obviously, Thomas said about what most of us know, is the back of a car is generally a low pressure area. And then he also said, which I didn't really think about, the reason he didn't make the scoop as far forward as possible is because the further back you go, the higher the pressure. So generally, the roof is the thing that makes it, the air go kind of over the top of it and miss all this. And I was like, well, I bet you then with the roof down, this would probably work better, because the higher pressure would probably start sooner. It's a pure guess, and it's not a fucking solution, because that means you just have to drive around with the roof down. But seeing as most people like to anyway, it's only me that don't. You know, we'll see. And if we don't try it, it's just going to be bugging us forever. So in the name of stupid science, I'm going to go and try again with the top down, because that intercooler in the normal front mounted location, cars are making, you know, 500, 600, 700 horsepower with that intercooler just fine. So maybe now with the roof down, the air goes down sooner, probably going by them mounting that there. I reckon it happens about there. So we'll see. And let's see. I mean, for all we know, it make no fucking difference.
Next week,
we cut some holes in the windscreen, and after that, we get one of these doors and attach it to there to make a scoop higher than our head, and you know, then it'd be perfect. But yeah, realistically, we got to find out, because most people run with the roof down anyway. It's not for me, but let's find out. It's all about proving everything. So right then, next test. First thing you notice is from sitting here, 57 degrees engine temps, like intake temps, because that engine bay gets hot as fuck. But yeah, this is the thing with testing and tuning. What the problem is on face value is rarely the real problem. Was it ducted? Was it the intercooler? Was it whatever? It's like, it's really been none of those things completely. We've tested everything and they're all a bit different. So now let's test if it's airflow, as in it being a low pressure area there, by driving with the top down and seeing if that helps cooling. Shite. It's worse. Well, intake temps were, I would say they were about, well, on throttle I got about 3 degrees higher than I did before, but I don't think that's the cooling when giving it some. That's the lack of cooling when driving around normally, whereas before it was going to 5 to 10 above ambient at most. This time, even though I drove around even further, it wouldn't go below like 40 ambient, you know, just cruising like. So the turbulence has made it way worse. At speed, as good, maybe better, I don't know, because literally it's gone from 40 to 54, so it's only gone up like 14 degrees in a second, third, fourth pull, but cruising around it's like 15 degrees worse. So it's like, wow, shite. Thomas has another idea, and it's because this engine bay, these get hot. So we're going to sacrifice this really shitty yellow boot lid to make some holes and see if letting air out helps, because obviously we're getting air in, but there's no real way of air coming out from under the bonnet, barring, well, nowhere really on this apart from underneath the car. So we'll see, because even the bit where the number plates are, if you look, these holes aren't real. They are bullshit. They're just solid. Maybe that's why mine was never as hot under there, because my whole back section was wire mesh. Well, this is that theory and reality thing. Everyone can, in theory, do this, do that, do the other, but we're testing the theories, and so far all the theories are wrong. So we're just gonna, yeah.
Just quick experiments, so Mk3 doesn't happen.
It does look badass, to be fair.
Say if, or anything, he just has to get that heat out the fucking way. This is hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, you put your hand there. Put your hand there, Thomas. Literally, it feels like you got your hand in front of a heater.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
It does. It does quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we have this the reinforcements.
Yeah.
Should really.
Yeah, you can remove them easy enough. I've removed them on mine, but it's
okay.
it's plenty for now.
Again, we have to see the difference.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. This will help general temperatures.
Hold on. Last time I said this is at least 20% improvement.
Yeah.
And it was what, maybe 2%. So
just cruising around, air temps are a lot better now. About 10 degrees better than they was on the last run with the roof down. perfect, but it's not bad. This time it took some serious pushing to even see 50, so it's the best one yet. And like cruising round, it feels, yeah. But these are cold now. Feel the.
This side is cold.
This side's cold.
Oh, this is completely cold. That side is because you remove the tape out.
Yeah. That's
coming
out,
out
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help. But yeah,
No,
big improvement.
definitely a big improvement.
It is still hot. That's
Yeah.
from the
But this is completely cold. Yeah, helps. Now this time, cruising round, it got to 810 above ambient, which is quite good considering it was 58 when I went to pull off, so it heat soaked. When giving it some, I the first run, second, third, top of fourth, saw 47, 48. It's like, oh fucking hell. So I tried 2 more times to similar speeds. The last time it got to 49. Each time, don't get me wrong, it's rising, just slower than ever, basically. And but also bear in mind, I did those 3 runs relatively back to back. It was like roundabout and then another bit. So it's not like
no
real rest. And it's kind of what I said about it. Don't really matter what temper it is when cruising, because it's the speed that causes the cooling or not. So every time it didn't go up faster just because it was heat soaking. I did them 3 in a row, and each time it was high 40s. It would have went to 50 if I'd have carried on, but that would have been like, well, 5th gear by then.
Yeah, but no, you have to. You kind of have to reproduce the same situation you had.
Yeah. Well, the way I always do the tests is to the rev limiter in 4th, because that's a lot of speed. You don't have to go much faster than that. But I do think these rear panels, I don't know if they pop out or screw it on these, because this is a facelift one.
I think that's scrap from inside.
Yeah.
You move.
Yeah.
But this from here.
Yeah, that don't do fuck all. But yeah, the big difference between this and mine was mine had a mesh rear, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. You know what else I'd like to try? What? Remove the back bumper again. We've done that, haven't we?
Yeah, but that wasn't separated.
Yeah, but if we remove the back bumper, it won't be separated again, will it?
Yes and no.
Mm.
But to see if what actually makes a difference, because I was expecting the drag force to make more difference, and it didn't.
Mm.
So is the engine heat actually warming and everything up so bad that this is not coping with it?
I don't know. You know what I'm fucking thinking though?
Oh.
I'm wondering if those side ducts do anything worthwhile. So what seemed like a good idea for the air filter place is actually a terrible idea. Do you know what I'm saying? I wonder if that air filter is really getting the cold air we think it is.
But it must do, because of this.
Must do is what we thought for everything. It seems good. I'm just wondering like what the air pressure airflow is on the side of the car like that. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here, because we've tried nearly everything. I mean, I don't think the back bumper off is going to make much more of a difference on this. And also, to be honest, is it a realistic test? Because it's never going to be a thing anyone does.
No, but people do cut this part off completely.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. It just clips in. You just remove it. Because mine, I just fitted mesh instead. And also, has this got the under tray still?
No.
No, that's not. So it's not that then. Okay.
So we know that the engine bay heat is dropped.
Mm. I just thought something else as well. One big difference in air temp, and why mine could be much better. My air filter's never been in the engine bay, ever. Small turbo or big turbo, it's never been in the engine bay. That's what made me wonder.
Yeah, you had everything outside.
It's always been outside the engine bay. You know, because it was either here, because I cut that out, so it was no longer a vent. It was just a panel. So it was either there or in there. Because I bet you nobody even knows how much air goes through them. Nobody's ever tested it. Of course air does go through, but how much, I wonder. It'd be easier to test it by blocking them off. Block it off and see if it gets worse. Hey, why don't we do that? Why don't you just get some black tape now, block the 2 side ducts off, and I go for another fucking drive?
Let's go.
Yes. Ha! I just thought something else weird we can do. This is like Mythbusters MR2 edition. I kind of like this shit. Yeah, I'm not convinced these side ducts do anything. Or if they do, they don't do much. So, we're going to get some duct tape and block them off and see if it gets worse. If it gets worse, I mean, you know, it's proof. If it doesn't change, side ducts are shite. So, let's see.
Should get hotter.
I hope so. Although in some ways I hope they don't, because at least we're getting somewhere. Do you know what I mean? I would.
I think either way we're getting somewhere. This is.
Oh, we get. Oh yeah. Well,
this is,
yeah.
I mean, the knowledge.
Yeah.
Instead of guessing shit. Because again, I was convinced that would make much improvement, and it didn't.
Exactly.
It made tiny.
Theory versus reality is fucking so weird with cars. I think more than any other subject. That's why you know, when people tell you shit on the internet, that's why I never listen to them. I never have, because they're wrong unless
Without
you
proof is always
yeah, without proof, theory, it never worked. You know, earlier on when I was looking actually at temps with this, I was unfortunate enough to end up on the worst forum in the world for bellends who think they know everything and don't, which is piston heads. And it was a lot of the Noble owners are on there, the M12 GTOs things. And obviously they have inlet temp issues, being a twin turbo mid-mounted V6. And this one company, Italian people, whether it's a company I'm not sure, but a modified one in Italy that they use on track, right? And they have fit a bigger intercooler, and he actually had data saying, yeah, it's fucking loads better, even like a full lap round Monza, blah 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 blah, way faster, and intake temps don't go high at all. Then there was other people arguing, blue in the face, oh yeah, but that's not a good solution because the bigger intercooler will make it laggier.
What?
Yeah, seriously, and these are people who've never done anything, literally people with standard cars. And he's like, we've tested it, it's gone around Monza a million times. And they were like, yeah, but that other solution this other bloke's offered is better because it's a standard intercooler just with more ducting. That'd be better because it won't be any laggier. It's like, it's not fucking laggy, you prick. And even that guy's proven it.
Fucking more oxygen density.
Bigger capacity intercooler, so it takes longer to fill up and all that bullshit. Their usual bullshit theory again. It's like, yeah, by like 0.0001 of a second.
Goes on a fucking walk by Sunday,
Yeah,
like 2 miles an hour.
yeah, exactly. Supersonic, practically fucking airflow, and they're saying that, and you know, it's people are pricks, man. I mean, literally arguing with a guy who's been there, done it, and proven it on track. Piston heads is the worst anyway, but that's typical shit. Oh, you know, but yeah, he had lap times, he had intake temp numbers, he had everything. He even had corner speeds, and they're like, oh yeah, but it make it laggy. Fuck off, right. Cunts. So yeah.
More about my car than myself.
Yeah, exactly. You on the internet who's never modified one in their life, but understands some basic theory you learn at school, think you can tell a tuner what he's doing wrong. So yeah, no more side ducts. I don't know what's good. You could say I hope this I actually hope.
Hoping this is gonna make it much worse.
Yeah, I really hope this makes it worse because it proves they work. If it doesn't make it worse though, it proves they don't work, which I'm kind of very interested in. I kind of hope it doesn't change anything or nothing much.
If it doesn't change anything, then we have to find a better place for the airfield.
Oh fucking hell! And I really want to try those Sea West ducks then as well. Or we make something out of fucking cardboard and shit like the rest of this car.
I use all the spare plastic shit I had. I use all the bloody...
Yeah. I have got spare side ducts, so we could just fashion something onto it.
This I'm really hoping he's gonna make it all much worse.
I hope it... I hope it doesn't, because then at least we know what's wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? We're kind of running out of options. I don't know. Right, let's go and have a go. Well, so far at least, just pottering around, intake temps haven't changed. They're literally about 40 degrees, which is what there was before. Still much higher than I would like. I'm beginning to think air filter location is the problem. I really am, but we'll find out when I get to give it some, because at the moment I'm just pottering about. Yep, 39 degrees, as low as it ever was, even with the ducts not blanked off. Yep, still 39, 38. It's actually lower than it was when I am blanked off now. 37, 36. It's cooler cruising around without them. I don't understand why, but it's actually cruising around cooler than it did before. Coincidence? It was only about 15 minutes ago. Possible that all of this problem has been the air filter location and not the intercooling, because we've always presumed the air filter location was getting cold air because it's right by that fucking duct, but no. No, not at all. Honest to God, no difference.
Really?
Fucking none. Peak temps were literally, well, you know what, and I don't believe it, that this shows there must be variation, because cruising around, it was lower. Cruising around, last time it was about 4 or 5 degrees lower cruising around with them blocked off. That's just I don't believe it's to do with that. I think that's a coincidence. Yeah. But either way, on like 2 runs all the way to the top of 4th, same 49, 50. That's basically exactly what it was without them blocked off. They don't do fuck all.
Tomorrow I get a longer fringe pipe. And I'm gonna stick the air filter inside the duct. Almost outside.
Well, I've got the right filter, yeah, so it could be inside the duct, or if you fucking if you wanted to, seeing as where the turbo is, as long as the wire from the MAF reaches, you can take your pick where you want to put it.
No, I'll take it there. I'll bring it up here. I put it literally here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's where mine was.
So I separate the air filter from the engine bay completely, and then we see the difference.
Yeah, that's where mine was. So, but yeah.
Once you remove the plastic inside, there is a space.
Nothing there's big space. That's what I did. Crazy.
This is another surprise.
Very. I was always suspicious about that.
I will almost put my base that they actually do.
I
fair bit.
I thought they would do something. I was always a bit sus they didn't do that much. But going by this, they don't do fucking jack shit. You know, and that's everything from like cruising around at 30 to basically 3-figure speeds. And you know, because some things will only work at speed or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was both. You know, if it was hotter at low speed and cooler at high speed, or the other way around, it'd be like, okay, fair enough, that duct only works at certain speeds. But in this level, and maybe it works at really high speeds, but that ain't our problem. You know what I mean? These cars aren't really built to be doing fucking 200 mile an hour, despite me wanting to do 200 mile an hour. Yeah, science.
So they're gonna bring the air filter here.
Yeah.
It's gonna stick out.
Just
whatever.
yeah, just poke it out in the actual air. Then there's no question then, because mine was in there, and there's still question then, I suppose. But if you had it here, no question. I mean, this is Mythbusters MR2 edition, so we can do that. We can do whatever we want.
This is a surprise. One after another.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So make a good video, in a weird way. I think this gets so hot because air doesn't come in. Well, it does seem like it from that test. Imagine, right, if this is it, we're going to be fucking kicking ourselves we didn't do the test the other way around. But this is why people should test and not just... All these fucking companies sell solutions to shit they've got no proof of. Do you know what I mean? That annoys me, which is why I don't like... Why I do most shit myself. All these companies, they sell, you know, solutions where there's no data for nothing. I really want to... Tomorrow, as you can fabricate that going to the outside, I am going to find a way using my spare vents to bodge up some kind of fake Sea West scoop on the vents. Because I got loads of them. I kept them all because it's useful.
You know you're going in front of the run.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, here we go again. I said about making the Sea West scoop. Thomas is making a Sea West scoop.
This is turning stupid. And we need to know.
It's not stupid if it works.
We have to know. Because there is the old duct inside. This should keep this stable in. And if I'm right, and I can manage to do it, this should be very stable no matter the speed.
I fucking hope so. Or I get into trouble for smashing a car's windscreen with a flying piece of plastic.
Nah, this is soft.
Shall I put the handbrake on a bit better? This MR2's handbrake's as good as most others, as in shit. Just about good enough to pass an MOT, but not good enough to do anything else.
Hey, this is
fucking hell, that looks cool as well, actually. Oh shit, yeah.
Be quick because if this
Sea West scoop.
you're in with this.
Yeah.
Hey, if this doesn't make any difference, I don't know what to do. This definitely brings some.
That actually looks like the Sea West scoop, just twice as big.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I need to take a photo of that. Right. Test number lost. What I was saying to Thomas a minute ago about the temperature of the air getting to the math, because although the intake temp was a bit lower, not by a lot, the car felt a shitload faster, like a lot faster, even though the intake temp was nearly the same. Huh?
This is cold.
Cold?
You know this?
Fucking hell.
This is very warm. This is cold.
Yeah, cold, yeah.
Cold.
Cold, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
cold.
You know what's weird though? Intake temps, and this is a funny one, right? The actual numbers on the gauge, barely any different. Not enough I could say it was better. It might have been. It did seem like it went up slower, but I'm not sure. But the car felt much faster. It didn't feel like it's holding back like it did, which makes me wonder if it's how hot it is at the MAF. It's not the intercooler temp, so it for whatever reason it's still quite hot post turbo, because the turbo's, it's a little turbo, it's going to cause a lot of heat, but the slowness was the temperature at the MAF maybe, because it felt, you know, I said it felt like it's holding back. It felt very sprightly, and I thought, oh fucking hell, this temps are going to be like 30s. No, still 49.50, but felt much better, quicker than this car's ever felt actually.
There you go, 50 quid.
Yeah.
New mod.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That is very rough because it's still got that plastic thing, so this is, so there you go.
I think try and put the air filter where we said, and I wouldn't be surprised if that makes the difference, because
keep the air filter away from the engine bay.
Yeah.
Put it here
where it, yeah.
there is a fresh air anyway. No matter the flow, if it's big or less, but it's fresh here. This is cold.
Because day lots of doing all this shit, and the next test is we're gonna remove that and put the standard deck back on, but leave our trumpet on the side.
Trumpet, yeah.
And we're gonna see if, you know, what works best, because is the trumpet, because the trumpet so far was the best, but was that doing all the work of just feeding the air filter there, and this, you know, this calling the intercooler isn't a big deal? We don't know. But if we change this now back to the standard one, and if that's doing the real job, then I think the real solution would be simply to move the filter to where it was on my car, which is there, in there. My prediction is this won't make it wildly worse, but it will a bit, purely because it's not, it will make everything hotter again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I reckon removing that will probably be as good as having all the modified deck lid, even though there's no scoop. I honestly think, going by my car, because I'm only guessing from how fine my car was, that makes a big difference. And I reckon overall it'd be the air filter that does it. I don't think either of them's going to fix it. Oh, by the way, everybody, this is what I've done to mine. Look, it's standard plastic infill, but instead of a fake vent, I just cut them out, so now they're real. So looks standard, but actually flows out. Right on, next test time. So this is standard deck lid with the big trumpet out the side still. See what it's gonna do. I don't think it's gonna be much worse than without, you know, with the crazy deck lid. I think the trumpet itself, giving more air, is probably the bigger effect, because it seemed the standard side ducts do nothing. I think probably once we do the next test where I remove, well, we remove the rear infill panel and the back bumper to let the air out, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that has a bigger effect than practically everything we've done so far. And I'm still fairly convinced just moving that air filter is going to be maybe the best, because I don't think even the trumpet duct thing is that good. I might be wrong, but I don't know. I've just, scoops and ducts, I've got very little faith in them. They don't always work as well as people think. Perfectly okay, and it's now back down to mid-30s almost straight away. So that's saying so far the the boot lid, the deck not being there isn't a bad thing. I'd say it doesn't cool down quite as fast as it did, but with no vents in the engine cover, I'm not surprised. But it's still cooling down okay. Okay, that was interesting. So, the attempts were rubbish. They were worse than before, but it felt fine. And I'm thinking that's something to do with the fact the filter's getting cold air, even though the inlet temp isn't very cold. Difficult to be sure about this. I would like to test again now with the rear bumper infill removed, because I think that will help the cooling a lot, but I don't think it will lower the intake temps at all. I just think it'll help recovery a bit and so on. I'm still convinced that the difference will be when the filter goes where the duct is, but without the duct, because I don't believe the duct does anything. Tell you the results, right? Intake temp was a bit higher, which is kind of understandable because there's no scoop. Recovery from heat was a bit slower. Again, understandable, there's no vents, but it felt fine. Felt fine.
So there's one thing to test.
Two things.
Well, yes, the bumper openings to get the heat out of the engine
Yeah.
bay, and the air filter supply with the flusher.
Yeah. I think
That fucker doesn't work, we know.
yeah, my guess is the infill thing will make the recovery a lot quicker. So yeah, so I think that's good. I don't know if it's going to help intake temps, but it might, because obviously it's just letting everything cool down.
Always a temp at the highest.
At worst, high 50s, very high 50s, and which is not, you know, not brilliant, but it's 30 degrees lower than even like a standard Lotus Exige, you know.
So it was below 60.
Below 60 just, but it was climbing. Don't get me wrong, if I would have, you know, if you'd have done 5th and 6th gear pulls as well, that was 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and I did numerous runs. Basically, 2nd gear run, you won't even see 40 before the limiter. 3rd gear run, you won't see 50. 4th gear run, you won't see 60. You know, it seems to go, you know, the kind of the acceleration of the car means you get to the next gear before another 10 degrees, if you know what I'm saying.
So I think with that removed,
I think that removed and the filter there, it won't be too bad at all.
Right.
I must, honestly.
I think we should be. I think we're happy with that put on and this.
Yeah. I really do. Right, final test, I think. This is with the rear bumper infill panel removed, which should help airflow. It's still got the rear crash bar in the way, so it's not like it's completely open like on my car, but there's some airflow at least, whereas there's none as standard. And this is with the air intake coming from literally at the vent on that side. Just a pipe, a 3-inch pipe, all the way to the outside. So yeah, the air is not sucking in any hot air from the engine bay, none at all. It is purely this. So while cruising around, intake temps drop faster than before and are lower than before. They're about less than 10 above ambient, which isn't bad. Holy shit, we have a solution. It's a fucking air filter. 3 runs in a row, seeing like 49, I would say this is the way to go. That took 3 solid goes to get like more than about mid 40s. On the last one it got to high 40s, and that's going to top of 4th, but it's much better. Like took like in lower gears it wasn't even getting to 40. It was like, holy shit, like, we've done it. And then a couple of runs it's getting hotter, so clearly there's some form of heat soak or something struggling. But fucking hell, just cold air feed, all the difference.
The air filter position actually
Yeah, Andrew needs to put his air filter there, basically. Basically, cruising around, it cooled down faster, and it did run cooler. It was showing like 32 degrees, so like 10 above ambient, which is best it's ever done, like cruising. But again, I don't think that's that important. But then giving it some, it raised slower than ever. Like second and third, it didn't even see 40 degrees. It's like, fucking hell. And it only got to like 50 on a run where it was already at 40 cruising around, and then I did second, third, fourth, and it got to nearly 50, but it was already at 40 something. That's how much slower it went up. If I'd have let it, I should cruise around a bit more and let it get back down in the 30s, but I was like, fuck it, I want to try some, worst case scenario, I think it's 42, 43, it got to like 49, which is like, that's going up. It was still rising, don't get me wrong, but that was top of 4th. That was like 6,500 RPM in 4th. So that's good. Yeah, we've done another test where we put the standard lid on, we took this bullshit off, so there's more clearance on the outside, and maybe most importantly, we put the filter, well, no filter, just the intake there, and that was just the best by far. So now Thomas wants to try, just out of our interest, putting the crazy lid back on and seeing, because it is simple, it's like a couple of minutes to do this. So right, final test, but I've said final test about 10 times now, then we get new ideas. So back with the crazy boot lid. Obviously the back thing is missing, which helps with cooling from the engine bay. That is obviously intercooler cooling, and the thing that seems to have made the biggest difference, the air coming from there. No scoop or anything, but I don't, well, you saw from testing, I don't think that makes bugger all difference. But
it's
this
not forcing any in,
no,
at least it's breathing fresh air.
Yeah, exactly, that's the thing. Now it's breathing fresh cold air, or as cold as you can get it. For the last test it was like about 10 above ambient cruising round, and it didn't even go to 50 until I basically kind of heat soaked it on purpose, and it got to very high 40s after like a long second, third, fourth till like 6.5, well, fourth to the rev limiter basically, and that's only when it got there. So I'm gonna go again with this and see what it does, and also do what I didn't do on the last test, which is cool it down to normal ambient and work out how high it goes from there. So yeah, I say final test. By the time I get back, either me or Thomas has probably had another idea, but I hope this is the final one. I'm getting a bit sick of this now. Oh, 30, so maybe it is a tiny bit better cooling now, but not by a lot. But what I'm going to do, as soon as I got a chance, I'm going to do a full pull, second, third, fourth, and see the temp increase from 30 or whatever it is. well, better than last time. Do one more because I almost don't believe it. Bloody hell. That's it. 3 runs in a row and it didn't even get to 45 degrees. Holy shit. Well, I never. Have a guess, Thomas. Go on. Guess in game.
I gave up yesterday.
You totally give up? Okay.
Go on.
Andrew, would you like a random guess? Because you haven't guessed
this?
what it was like. Bear in mind we've tested all this already, so we should know.
It's then completely opposite from what you expected.
Yes, pretty much.
It's got hotter.
No, it's good.
What?
Literally, it's made, for some reason, even though that bonnet didn't make that much difference without the cold air feed, now, no joke, 3 fucking runs in a row, second, third, fourth, to literally trying a heat soak it, never saw more than 45. And instantly, as soon as you let off, straight back to high 30s. It's not scientific, but I saw maybe 5-10 mile an hour more than I was seeing the other times, letting off at the same point.
Of course, more performance.
Yeah,
Combination of cold intake, extracting the air out of the engine bay as much as possible, and feeding the intake with fresh air.
As usual, I'm my own worst enemy, and the final test turned out not to be the final test, because although I'm fucking sick of this, Thomas mentioned about this a spoiler what it would do, and that is something I really want to know. So we're just gonna basically rivet some alley.
It's gonna be another fucking late afternoon, is it? That's it.
Yeah, we're out of ideas after this, realistically. So you know.
How many times we said?
I know. But this is, yeah. It's going to be mostly the air extraction from the back by Thomas's aerodynamic ideas. I'm not an aerodynamic expert, so I'm not really sure what it does, but
so
we'll see.
What this makes me happy about it, because I was
from the start you've said it needed one.
Because I said this will work. This will make a big difference, and it did it. Now it did, because we separated the 2 different issues.
Yeah.
Once you got the cold air, this actually now made a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel better about it.
Yeah.
I was almost pissed.
Yeah. I was wondering if that made a difference to that, but it shouldn't, because that's completely sealed off from that. So the fact that I've opened that, it helped cooling, but I don't think it's really had the big deal. The big deal, I think, is, like you said, the air intake getting cold air plus that. But you know, right from the start of this, Thomas has been saying like it would be better if the back end wasn't so rounded for the airflow, and it's like, well, actually, let's fucking prove that. So let's see.
As ugly as it gets.
Yeah, that is mint. That is. It looks like a NASCAR after about 50 rounds of NASCAR. Fuck it, it's testing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, looks like it's been in a fucking war. You like Mad Max stuff. This is as Mad Max as you get.
Can't get more Mad Max.
Yeah. Even Mad Max would be like, I'd clean it up a bit.
Ready? This is how we.
This is our Aston Martin. Yeah.
Aerodynamics.
We've got places like Morgan down the road, and this is what we learnt off them. You see, their custom bodywork. This is how you do sheet metal work.
Every part of this workshop is useful. Every single part. Don't want to go more than this because you're gonna lose some top speed.
This is environmentally friendly modifying, isn't it?
Bullshit we talking since yesterday.
There you go.
There you go.
Fucking
Perfect.
hell. There you go. NASCAR.
Some bricks.
Yeah,
Brick
brick
dust.
dust. What's it gonna do? Scratch your yellow paint?
That's a bit well.
No, fuck it. That's fine. It's it's like your ducktail.
Riveting, so this is not going anywhere. It's 500 pounds lid.
To be fair, it's a lot less ugly than a lot of those fucking spoilers people fit to these. You know those ones that like halfway along the boot lid? They're the worst looking spoilers I've ever seen.
Like there.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is that about? It's fucking atrocious. Yeah, there's about mounted about there, isn't it? I think that's like a Toyota option as well. And then they wonder why nobody bought these cars when they were new. Because they look like shit. No, honestly, if that was tidy, that looks badass.
Tell you something, this is all made from scrap beads and scrap metal. This was some, I can't even remember, from some refrigerator. I'm start actually liking this.
Yeah, I know.
Some weird way.
Look at that. It looks best now.
Then we've invested in the yellow string, yellow elastic.
Yeah.
To match the submarine.
Exactly, yeah. This is what that's the thing, see, out of all this testing, we've negated to think that maybe the airflow change from having the string in there, that might have been all what's making the difference. And like we could take the bungee cord off and it just ruins everything. Look, it's like a what do you call it? Them, you know, they have the straight bits on the cars, don't they, on the roof rails and whatever, to straighten the air. This is your air guide vanes, isn't it, you see?
I'm not sure I'm gonna edit this video, but if I were gonna watch this and wouldn't know any better, I would question the drug dealer we use it.
Thing is as well, all the stuff in the car, I don't even know if they can hear me, so I don't know if that's any good or it's just going to be all this. But and I haven't done an intro. I've not done anything. I don't even know. It's just a video of us making some weird shit.
Anyways,
yeah.
We have them in offer, 250 quid, beautifully hand-shaped Aero wings.
See this? You see the people going about the dimples in inlet ports, you know, like golf balls. See? Dimples. It helps make the aero faster or some bullshit. Dimples. It's not because it's fucked, it's because it's on purpose.
Listen, I don't want to give me the camera. Listen, have a look from this point of view. You tell me this thing is not cool. I like it.
I like it. No, because
this is the worst part of it.
My problem has always been with MR2s is the back. They got a big bum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're having the spoiler actually sorts out the bum
egg
a lot.
shape.
Yeah. It's not a big curvy round bum.
Go and test it.
Yeah, I'm going to test it. But yeah. Yeah,
It's ugly.
Side on.
It's like, no question about this is ugly. But I still like it.
It makes the shape better though, yeah. It's like I said, if I could make those TT 3.2 spoilers fit, that would be perfect. It's about like that, but factory looking. But because of the dip and all that shit on the bonnet, the bumper I mean, the engine cover, whatever, it don't fit. It's miles out. So fuck knows. Anyway, I'm gonna go and test this. Wish me luck. I would say make a guess, but I can't even make a guess this time because I don't understand spoilers. I would love it if this makes a big difference, but I don't understand how spoilers work. So it's like
do the same rules and see what the difference
exactly.
is. I don't want any.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Well, it's cooling down quite fast. It's gone down by 20 degrees already, so it's at least as fast as before. The key is if it still goes as low as it did. I've got no reason to believe that spoiler would make a difference on that either way, but we'll find out. It actually hit the record low number about 20 minutes ago. So at least a mile driving before it did before, like 31, which is what it's at now. It was about a mile later before it hit it before, but again, it's a couple of degrees. That's probably, I wouldn't call that like, oh look at this, it's better. It's like, it might be luck. It's one, like literally 1 or 2 degrees. I'm actually thinking the spoiler is helping the cooling, because for the first time ever it went into the 20s then, and it's staying at like the very low temps that it was before a lot easier. Again, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. Before I can say much about it. I went up 10 degrees only on a full second, third, fourth pull. That's good. Wasn't like crazy enough to be sure.
Clean.
Well, everything's cold, which is good. The answer to this one, Thomas, was inconclusive.
Okay.
If it's better, it wasn't by much.
Okay.
I think technically it was better, but it's close enough it might have been a coincidence. Do you know what I mean? One thing that did impress me was I did a load of runs in a row again. Well, what I think it is better because I did one run, third gear, starting in third and all the way to the limiter. It got to like 35 and stayed there. It did not go over 35 degrees. It's like, holy shit, yes. Higher gears, again, like after I did about 3 runs in a row, like basically practically the rev limiter in fourth, so 6.5, 6, 7 in fourth. That's when it was seeing like mid to high 40s again, but after a few runs. But you know the interesting one, which I never saw in any other run, is, you know, I said that because the inlet manifold, the sensors in the inlet manifold, so anytime you close the throttle, you see the temp go up, there's no more airflow to it. On what I think the last run, I changed, it was like mid 40s, top of third, changed to fourth, and the temp sensor spiked up to 50, because it does when the throttle was closed. When I put my foot back down, it went back down into the 40s. So it was cooling nicely, you know, it literally dropped back into the 40s, so it does cool. But I'm not sure how much, you know, like again, I saw record lowest temps cruising as well. Anyone else got any crazy ideas before we fucking stop? Because I'm literally out of ideas now. That was the only one left I was thinking of. The spoiler's inconclusive, apart from the fact I think it looks better, makes the shape of the car more right. But the biggest change of all was the air filter, air inlet being in the side pod. That is the biggest thing. So yeah, well, this is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare to try and edit into something watchable. And because this is going to be many ridiculously long hours of footage. But it was interesting, for us at least. Bear in mind, this is a, I don't know how many gigabyte memory card, and I just realised it's nearly out. So I dread to think how much is on here. 42 minutes left of filming, it says. And it's a big memory card. Like, I don't know, it might be a 256 gig one. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, well, hope you liked our fucking testing. At least we know a lot of the answers now, because like I've said already on this video, most of these MR2 turbos have got appallingly bad cooling setups. You know, and they just think they're good, and they've got no proof because they never even check what they're like. But, you know, they've got them intercoolers in the back with absolutely, you know, just in the back bumper with zero ducting and a couple of shitty fans. It's like, that ain't gonna do shit. Fans don't do anything at any kind of speed anyway, because, well, they don't. Fans are usually for static stuff. A couple of poxy fucking little 12-inch fans, 6-inch fans they usually are, on your thing, it's going to do nothing apart from like idle and slow speeds. So it's like, it just makes them feel better. Same as the people that put the fans on the deck lid. It's like, you're not really flowing air like a wind will, you know what I mean? Even dynos can't replicate moving air, and they've got dirty rate fans that's like 6 foot tall. It's like, you know, so believe in your 6-inch fucking eBay fan is gonna do anything is wrong, basically. Christ, you know, these cars, fan cars, you know, they use actual motors, like what would drive a car to power the fan. You know, that's what's needed. So yeah, don't believe the bullshit. Wow, believe this mess that we made, if you like, because at least it was real data. A final thing for this video is, from all this testing, we found a fucking brilliant way of doing the air filter setup. So from now on, the intake pipe is going to be sold. It's going to be totally different to how it was, and it's going to put the air filter there. It's going to be 3-inch pipe all the way from the turbo, well, all the way to the turbo, from here onwards. And yeah, coldest air possible all the way. So and obviously it can be fitted to any turbo, so it'd be useful for, obviously we're building it just to fit on the standard KO4s, but because the position is the same regardless, you know, as long as you've got a 3-inch intake, this is usable regardless. So that's in production. You have to fit it, you have to unbolt the wing, but that's easy. It's like 20 minutes, 10 minutes. And you have to remove this pointless bracket that was there. And there's another bracket of bolts on there you can throw away. And because that's where the standard intake pipe goes from the factory. Although that one doesn't, again, it's bullshit, it doesn't work. We've proved that. But luckily the standard intake pipe is 3-inch, so there's room there for it to work. There's even in the wheel arch liner, it's got a dip for the fucking pipe to go.